Welcome to episode 4 of the Whatever Podcast. I'm Erica.
I'm Annabelle.
I'm American.
I am not, and I forgot there were cameras.
There is a camera, which is a perfect plug that our video podcast comes out every Tuesday following the release of our audio only podcast. So thanks. Wow, that was a great segue. You're really
welcome.
Good.
That wasn't me being an immature giggler. That was me being really ahead of the game. Thoughtful,
futuristic.
Yep.
Call her Xenon. She's in the future.
That's what it is.
We have another packed lineup for you today.
It's a good one.
On my list is woodpeckers, bookshelves, comparison, and our roommate, which really is I feel like it's like a Rorschach test. It's like those ink blots where you show it to someone and they tell you like psychologically what they think. I think that this list is our Rorschach test for people.
Okay.
And that was for the psychology majors listening. All right, let's get into it. Veggie Tales taught me a variety of life lessons. Did Veggie Tales teach you anything?
I didn't watch Veggie Tales as a kid.
What did you watch as a kid?
A lot of Hannah Montana.
You know what? That's good. I too watched a lot of Hannah Montana. I watched a lot of my favorite movie growing up was The Incredibles. I can tell you don't relate to that.
I hate animated things. Any cartoon animation.
Gosh, probably why I hate Disney too.
Yeah.
I really wanted to be Violet Incredible. And if you have not seen The Incredibles, probably could you live under a rock. She's the one that has force fields and can be invisible. And so when I was younger and that movie came out, my mom got me an oversized Violet Incredible shirt. And because it was long, I could pop my hands into the sleeves. And I thought it made me look like my hands disappeared. And so I'd walk around just pull my hand as fast as I could.
You were too cool for school.
And when I got older, and all my family was like, you don't look like her. You don't even look like her. You don't look like her. And then when I was like 16, my aunt was like, yeah, man, you really looked like her growing up. We just never wanted to tell you because you were in a really unhealthy spot. And I think I shed a single tear, and I was like, that would have done so much for my confidence. Why didn't you tell me I looked like her? I'm like, she was my idol. I'm like, my life would be so much different if you had just said one time that I looked like her.
Oh,
it was really funny.
Child psychology. There's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah, those Rorschach tests. If you don't know what the Rorschach test is, it's funny, the Veggie Tales conversation, I learned that from Veggie Tales. It's the ink blots that they show, and you have to say like what you think it looks like.
Is it an old woman or is it
three
a
birds?
Bird?
Yeah. Why do we both say birds? Speaking of birds.
Oh, no.
I have woodpeckers on my list because I went to take pictures with a friend today. With a friend. And she had to come get me. We were in a park. She had to come get me. And this older couple was like, oh, what are you guys looking for? What are you looking for? And we were like, oh, we're just here to take pictures. And they were like, did you see the woodpeckers?
Oh, they thought you were like.
And we were like, what? They're like, the woodpeckers, they're all over the place. They're all over the place today. Like, yeah, they thought we were nature photographers. We're like, no, we're just taking pictures of our friend. And they're like, they were pretty disappointed.
They were probably so confused, like, why wouldn't you be taking pictures of these woodpeckers?
The woodpeckers are all over the place.
I've never seen a woodpecker.
I've never seen one either, just the cartoon.
I don't really care to.
I don't know. I think if I was a tree, I'd feel differently. I'd definitely not want to see a woodpecker. But as a human being, removed from the situation.
I feel like the way things have been going for you this week, if you weren't even a tree, you were just being you, I think a woodpecker would somehow give some kind of unfortunate event.
And Annabelle just came from my neck. Okay. And Annabelle just exposed that I had the worst way. I will say from the recording of the last podcast to this podcast, things did improve. It did improve. This is a PSA to people to be a healing elixir for people. Because I cannot emphasize this enough. The worst week I had in a really long time. And my boss and my boss's wife, who is like a mentor to me, she's the nicest woman in the world, but also really like she's sassy and fun too. She's not like a pushover or anything. She's freaking awesome. She came back and she asked me what was wrong, and I talked to her for maybe 10 minutes, and I immediately felt better. I just felt understood.
Those people are the best.
Yeah, so you guys should be those people because it significantly turned around my week. But I will agree and say, given the current events of that would be just one other thing that happened to me this last week.
This morning, I was stood outside my bedroom as I spoke with Erica, one of my roommates, and also one of our other roommates. And so 3 of us are just standing there talking about school, talking about life.
Before you get into that, I will preface that we previously thought that our roommate really thought we were freaking weirdos because every time she would encounter us in that, because we're all out of the house a lot, but every time she would come home from like work or something, we would be like, I'm laying on the kitchen floor and Annabelle's standing on my back trying to crack it, or we're having a conversation,
really weird
conversation about like some hypothetical,
out of context, probably sounds like we're doing witchcraft or something.
Yeah. I wouldn't say that's kind of a strong statement. I wouldn't say that. We're not talking about that far end of things, but definitely just weird. Like I referenced our podcast last week, and I walked up to Annabelle and I said, "Oh, Annabelle, you look so pretty today. Your pink energy is really radiating out of you today." And I know that sounded weird, man. I know it did.
This one time I was just laying upside down on my bed, stretching my back because I'd hurt my back lifting. But I was also like trying to pass time. So I was just watching TikTok, but then I was laughing. And then I was laughing at the fact that I was just hanging upside down laughing. So I started videoing myself. And then I just look up and she stood at my door just seeing me video myself upside down laughing.
Or yesterday, I'm sitting folding laundry on our second level, and I didn't know anyone was home, so I'm blasting like dumb music, watching my stupid TikToks. And
Sponsored by TikTok.
Her and her mom walk out the room. Again, I didn't know anyone was home. It was so quiet. And I was like, "Oh," and her mom's like, "Oh, are you Erica?" I'm like, "Yep, just sorry. I'm just doing my laundry. I didn't know anyone was home." Like, she caught me doing something like horrible. I'm like, "Oh, just sorry. I didn't know anyone was home. Sorry for me folding my clothes." Like,
honestly, now that I say all of this out loud, we are kind of weird.
We're freaking weird people. We're so weird. Anyway, sorry, continue. So
anyway, the 3 of us are just having a conversation, and in my mind, I'm like, yes, this is going so well. We seem so normal.
Oh my gosh. I will say she's not done anything that has made us think that she thinks we're weird or anything. She's dope. She's really the coolest person in the world. You. We just automatically assumed. Yeah.
So then Erica decides. I don't even know if I can say this without laughing. Okay. Erica decides to nonchalantly, as she is speaking, to say,
I had an old shoe shelf I was getting rid of, so it was sitting out on the second floor for me to, or the third floor, I'm sorry, for me to take downstairs. So I was sitting on it and I shifted my weight.
And like a movie moment, the entire shelf
just
collapses under. And she just goes, she hits the ground, her legs and arms are in the air.
I started dying laughing, and then I just keep telling the story I was telling while I'm laying on the ground still.
Like nothing happened.
Yeah, because I didn't know what to do.
Just kept talking, and I could not stop laughing. And people falling down is honestly probably one of my favorite things ever. It will forever make me laugh and bring me so much joy, more than it should. But that was just, I think the fact that I was consciously thinking like, wow, we seem so normal right now. This is going so well.
And then I ruined everything, as always. And that's when I went, No, I didn't ruin anything. Sorry, I know you hate when people do that. I'm sorry, I repent.
Thank you. And then today, we were like walking back from brunch, which whole nother conversation. But then Erica walks in the house, bends down with her sunglasses on in the dark, and smacks her head on another bookshelf.
Yeah, I was grabbing a water bottle from the bottom shelf, and it was dark because there's no windows on our bottom floor, and I had my sunglasses on. But the first thing I say, I come up and I said, "I really bonked my noggin on the shelf." She's like, "You what?" I'm like, "I bonked my noggin." We're just so freaking weird. This is stuff. Whatever. Brunch was an experience.
Oh, goodness me.
This is a belated, Annabelle's birthday was a few weeks ago, obviously, but one of her things I left for her in her room was it's like a friendship ticket thing, but it was like
sweetest thing.
Brunch to my favorite place, which is it's a cafe inside a really nice hotel on Palm Beach Island, which if you don't know, it's like the top whatever percent of the world's wealth is on this island, whatever. It's a really nice cafe. You can go in and just get food regardless of whether or not you're staying in the hotel. And so I took her there today.
I wouldn't say low expectations. That makes me sound judgmental, but America.
When people hype stuff up, it's easier to just have low expectations.
Yeah, but not even that, but just like food in general in America is just very much gone like the cheap, easy way. And also, I only pay for the cheap, easy way. So like, I can't really speak on behalf of like all American food sucks because I don't try and go to like where it is actually from like high quality things. But I think I came from like a family in England where we lived in a farm town. So everything we ate was literally like the meat was straight off like a friend's farm and the vegetables like from the local farm. Like everything was just so fresh. Then when I first moved to America, I got super sick just from like literally just eating the food.
Dang.
And so just since then, I just have like low standards for food. I'm like, I'm sure it's amazing. I'm sure I will enjoy it, but I will feel terrible after because it's going to be so processed. There'll be a lot of sugar, all that kind of stuff.
This place is another level, man.
This place, I ate so much. We had so many different kinds of foods. And I had the best scones I've ever had, which says a lot because I've had a lot of scones in my life. They were so hot. And
they were ready. Like when you ordered them, they're like, okay, it'll be 15 minutes to bake them. Like they make them when you make them to order.
Yeah, and they just had so much flavor and the texture was just perfect.
The jam.
Everything about it was just exquisite. But then after like we ate everything, I just didn't feel like sick and like that super full gross feeling like, oh, why did I just do that and I have to live the rest of my day feeling like this. I just like felt energized, and food is supposed to bring you energy, and that's what it did. But it was just really great.
So how I found out about this place, actually a wild story, but a few weeks ago I was grabbing breakfast at a restaurant downtown, and when I was leaving I sat my wallet down on the curb to do something and left it there. And it was gone. And the sweet woman that found my wallet and did not keep it for herself and did not steal from me, which is rare. She is the executive pastry chef at this hotel, at this cafe that we went to. And so she found me on Instagram and told me she had my wallet, And I went and obviously saw all her stuff, and it just looked so good. So I took our other roommate, Jessica, to go and try desserts. And it's like, I'm a huge key lime pie girl. And it was the best key lime pie I ever had in my life. The sorbet is made in-house. Everything's fresh, like made in-house every single day. And it was just immaculate. And so the first 2 times I went back, because I went with Jessica, I went with my friends, the Reese sisters, and we went, and the lady that found my wallet wasn't there. It was her day off, and I went. And then I went for brunch, and the staff knew me the first 2 times I went. They were like, "Oh yeah, you're the girl." I don't know how they knew who I was. They're like, "You're the girl whose wallet."
I mean, it was a cool connection.
No, it really was super cool. And so I went for brunch. All new staff. I had not seen any of the staff before. I had not met any of the staff before. I sound like I'm a regular there. Today was my 4th time going. But anyway, I went to have brunch by myself. I had a day off on Monday, much needed. So I went, got the scones and everything. I'm sitting at my table, and halfway through my brunch, she comes out, the lady, the chef. And she's like, "Hey, they told me you were here."
They told me.
And I was like, who is they? And how do they know what I look like? Because it was all new staff, all of them.
Weird.
All that to say, she stayed and talked to me for like 10 minutes. Super sweet. She had a slow moment, so she was able to come out. And I told her how much I love the key lime pie, all the desserts. It was just so delicious. And I was leaving, and in my like to-go bag, because I had some scones left over, she snuck in a slice of the key lime pie because I told her how much I liked it. It was so
if she
sweet.
wasn't a nice enough person already returning your wallet, that really just... That lady, hearing things like that, it just kind of inspires you just to kind of go out of your way. Because to her, it probably wasn't a big deal to sneak in a piece of key lime pie.
Yeah.
But that really meant a lot to you. And I feel like there's so many things we could do in life.
Oh, big time.
That don't really like seem like they'd be that difficult for us to do, but could really make someone else's day.
Well, I think it's just appreciation for how things work out. Because like I lost my wallet. And I honestly had resigned to the fact, I feel like things happen in life, and despite them seeming negative, or even something as simple as losing my wallet, it was frustrating. I was like, at the end of the day, like, I replace everything in my wallet, and whatever happens, happens, because I spend a lot of my life worrying about what will happen if something happens and stuff. And I don't know why in this specific situation, I just really let it go. And if I had not lost my wallet, this lady would not have found it. I would not have met her. I would have not have known this place existed. And it's literally like a really simple thing, but I love, like, it brings me so much joy to just go sit and eat there and just have like a moment to like breathe a bit, especially with everything going on right now. But I would not have that like a place to go to if that had not happened to me, like that negative quote unquote experience happened to me, And so I don't know. It just makes me like think through like you know, some things aren't what they are at surface value, and you really have to write out the process on things, because even though it seems like it's terrible, really the end result might be something completely different. Than it's like living out a story, you know, storytelling.
I love that.
The twists and turns.
One of my favorite memories of growing up, I need to stop preface. See, I feel like I'm really bad at prefacing things, because for instance, I had a conversation with my boss like 3 weeks ago, and the way I prefaced the conversation, I made it sound like I was about to tell her like I quit and I hate her. But in actuality, I think I just had to tell her like I wanted to get lunch or something. I don't know, something like super not important. But I'm really bad at like prefacing what the conversation is going to be. And anyway, besides the point. But my cousin and I one time we decided that we were gonna get YouTube famous. This was probably the second time in my life I thought that. Now I'm going on 7 times. I'm convinced that at some point in my life I will be famous. I don't know how. I don't have many talents or gifts, but I will be. I'm just convinced of it. Anyway, so this time we thought we were going to get YouTube famous, and we were going to start a YouTube channel together. And our very first episode, we sat there, we made a whole studio in my room, and we talked about all the differences of like America versus England, because he actively was living in England but was spending the summer with us in America. And so there was just so many different like culture differences, food differences, like language different, like all this stuff. And we just talked about them and just roasted Americans for like 45 minutes straight. And we thought it was the best thing ever. And
then people got really offended.
Yeah, honestly, it was probably only our family that watched it anyway. But it was out there for the world to see for a hot second. We didn't get famous, just to clarify.
I gotta say,
you saw it?
No. No, but I do have a YouTube channel out there that's really rough. I started it, I think my freshman year of college, and it's rough.
Ours wasn't rough. It was amazing.
Oh, good. You know what? I'm glad you clarified that. No, I was going to say, I'm realizing, thank God I never decided to like run for political office or anything. Cause I read the stuff I wrote back in like 2010, like when I was like 15 and an idiot or whatever, however old I was. And I wrote some very like, I was just picking up on words everyone at school was saying, but didn't realize just how offensive they were.
Yeah.
Or how mean they were. And I like on my time hop now, things come up. And I mean, I'm actively deleting them because they're horrible. I'm like, why would I say today's post was, man, I hate when these stupid freshmen come and sit in the back of the bus and ruin the whole seating situation that the seniors have planned out. And someone was like, yeah, that's why we kick them. Like another senior was like, yeah. They're like, that's when you tell them to blah, blah, blah. And I said, no, that's when you shank them in the face. I didn't know.
What?
I didn't know what that meant. I just heard a bunch of kids around school say that. And I had no idea what it meant. And obviously, like, it's a different time then to now. Like, things are way less sensitive then than they are now.
That would be a threat now.
That would be a threat. Oh, that'd be a huge threat now. Yeah. And I'm like, how did no one stop? Like, why did no one say, like, hey, you probably shouldn't say you're going to shank them in the face? Because the thing is, like, no one talked to me anyway. Like, I didn't have I'd say that. I had, like, 3 friends in high school. Like, no one took me seriously. But it's just funny, like, you say stuff back then, like when you're young, and you think you know everything. And then when you get older and you look back at the stuff you said, you're like, oh my gosh, like why would you say that? It's crazy.
I just used to post everything. Like my Facebook statuses was also pretty much all typos, but be like, it's lightning, I'm scared. Or like just literally everything I would post. I was like, why did I do this? This is so embarrassing.
Mine were like hopeless romantic song lyrics, like, or like where it used to be like Erica Sade is. And
feeling hungry.
Like you put your thing is crushing hard, is thinking about him, ... Or some Maroon 5 like song lyric, some Hannah Montana song lyric. It's just crazy. And it's weird because you see like kids now or like high school students now that were like, I feel like so much cooler.
I feel like they have it all together. They look so cool. Their fashion sense is better than mine.
Yeah, what the heck?
They know how to do makeup.
Yeah.
They are cool to hang out with.
Yeah. All of them. Me, none of those things. Not a single one. Neon
annoying.
eyeshadow. Shirts that were too small. My hair was frizzy. Braces. No friends. Obnoxious personality. Comparison.
Yeah. I feel like this week I really noticed just how much Like there is just comparison, like in my mind, in the world, just in general. And sometimes it is like on something like deep, like, oh my gosh, this person is so much like prettier than I am, or more talented than I am, or like a better athlete than I am, like different things like that. But I don't know. I feel like this week I think I was stuck in my head, like alone too much to like think about it and not to get like too deep and sad, but was just like really struggling with comparison. And so, I don't know, Erica, do you ever feel, whether it's like in your like line of work with videography or photography or whatever it is, like do you like feel like you struggle with comparison and that stuff? And then like if so, like how do you like, I guess, handle that and deal with it?
Never. I'm just kidding. No. Yeah, I'm a girl.
People compared to me.
Yeah, no. A girl in a creative industry. I feel like it's like the two worst things to be, because I feel like girls are just like obsessively comparative. I don't know. I feel like it's like one of those the grass is always greener on the other side situations, and I feel like we're in we're in a culture now where we glorify. And I feel like we've seen all the blog posts, we've seen all the videos on how like we glorify the very specific moments in your life, like that are highlightable, and then all the stuff that passes is like not really shown. And that's why I know I try to be, and I feel like sometimes I need to tone down a little bit. I really try to be honest about where I'm at with things, because I feel like what good does that do anybody? Like, if you show people just the destination and not any part of the journey, like people just see the destination, they only focus on the destination. I'm like, there's a journey that is involved in every single destination kind of thing. Creatively, whatever. I still compare myself to people all the time. Especially like being a girl, just looks wise, I compare myself to people all the time. I've really struggled with like self-worth a lot, which is funny because you think after a certain point you hit your stride and you get over it, and like it's like a constant battle for me. And even in my work, like I see things and I'll do things, and I think I struggle with the standard of like, oh, am I good based on these people's standard of me, or am I good based on what the standard should be?
I don't know. I find it so hard to get past like it's one thing to have those thoughts, and then like I feel like I need to stop saying like get through that point of letting those thoughts take action. So for instance, like I feel really stuck right now with photography, stuck in comparison, and it makes me just want to stop showing people what I'm doing and just stop taking pictures, even though it's what I love and I know that I will have a very successful career out of it. But there are so many photographers these days. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
And so it's like, it's so hard not to get stuck in comparison, because every single person, whether they're a photographer or not, knows/follows at least 10 other ones. Yeah. And so it's just so hard for me to be like, well, why would I put this out? Because it's not the best. And I guess I just need to be okay with not being the best and not let it like crush me and give up.
Yeah. And I think it's really like, I think you hit the nail on the head. It's easy to look at what everyone else is doing or see what other people are doing and set that as your standard. But I feel like the standard for you has to be what your best is. My best on a Sunday afternoon and Serena Williams' best on a Sunday afternoon, two very different bests. Okay. Like I'm not Serena Williams and Serena Williams, not me. And so I think I had to reach that point. Like I can't compare my best to someone who's at a different stage of life than I am. Yeah. So like I could stand here and I can watch an Olympic athlete do Olympic athlete level work. And then I sit here and get frustrated because my standard isn't the same. Like I'm not reaching their standard, but their life and their journey is at a very different place than mine is. So that's not fair to me or to them to really hold myself to the same standard as someone who's in a very different place of their life. And I don't know, I think about it. I use this analogy all the time. It'd be like, I think it comes down to like expectation. Like I could sit here and I could look at you and be like, Annabelle, I expect you to grow a watermelon out of your belly button. I expect it. And I would be, I think, disappointed to know that you cannot do that. You can't. I love watermelon. But that's the thing. Like I will be heavily disappointed every day of my life if I sat here expecting her to do something she physically cannot do. And it would be unfair for me to put that expectation on her to do something she physically can't do. Okay. And so I just feel like we look at ourselves and we compare ourselves to other people and we're just not built for what they do, or we're gifted in a different way. It doesn't mean we don't have a high standard for ourselves. It just means that we need to figure out what our high standard is for ourselves, what we personally want to be portrayed as, and continue to challenge us. I'm not saying the people around you can't challenge you. I think there's health in being challenged. I just think comparison is where it gets really unhealthy. So this week, Chadwick Boseman passed away. And I just think about, I remember what I'd read about him having his cancer. He's had cancer for 4 years, and he's filmed like 10 to 12 movies in 4 years. 10 to 12 movies, acting in them. And not many people knew he had cancer. He had every right to care extra about himself and his family and just say, I'm done doing this. But because he cared about the craft so much, he kept on working hard, and he just didn't complain. And for me, I was like, I can barely get out of bed at 7:30 in the morning to walk my dog without complaining about like whatever, being stressed or being overwhelmed, and just seeing the work ethic that took, the work ethic he had, and the passion he had, the purpose he had. He wasn't just driven by success. He was driven by, like, when you do something like that, you're just not driven by success anymore. You're driven by, because you're passionate about the thing. You care, and you have a high degree of excellence in what you do. And that challenged me, like, man, like, I need to push harder. I really do. And I don't know. I think that's the difference between comparison and challenging. Comparison keeps you stuck in your head, and a challenge keeps you moving forward. And when you're challenged, you keep moving forward and you improve and you grow. When you compare, you just get stuck in yourself and you recede and you stay stagnant at one spot.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I feel like every different like season of life, we've gone through like different areas of comparison, and like you said, it never ends. Like you think it will. Like I wish I could be like, oh yeah, I know that when I get to 30 years old, I will have it all figured out, and I will just be okay with who I am and be confident.
And like literally,
I pray that's true. But and just like celebrating those things in itself.
Yeah.
Like I was talking to somebody who I really value yesterday about this, and she was like, why are you so hard on yourself? Why don't you just celebrate what you have done and the work you are creating and the person you are right now? And like, why? She's like, you're being very mean to yourself right now. Yeah. Like you wouldn't be that mean to anyone else. You need to stop.
Yeah.
And it was just very true. I don't know. I've been thinking about that conversation a lot, like all day today. And this morning just had like a very quiet morning, just kind of thinking about things. And yeah, I feel like it is a lot to do with perspective.
Yeah.
And I think comparison can come a lot to, as much as you think it's looking at other people, it's actually when you're focusing so much on yourself.
Yeah, big
and the
time.
more you're being selfish and keeping your eyes on yourself, you're going to become more insecure and be like, well, why aren't I like them? Whereas if you just focus on like, wow, these other people are doing great, good for them. And actually looking at other people in a way of like, wow, I wonder how I can be friends with them, or how I can learn from them, or how I can love them,
right,
or pray for them, whatever it is, then it's just a whole nother game.
I was in Muay Thai this week. It's always my Muay Thai thing because they call me out. It's funny, like even the simple things like that. There's so many things about my personality that come out in an environment like that, which I don't understand why. But same thing, we were fighting this Friday. I didn't get hit in the face this time, thankfully. And Rob, one of the advanced students, he's so nice. But we'll get into a fight. We'll be 10 seconds into it, and he can read my face. And he's like, "Why? What are you thinking about? Like, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "How can you read it on my face? Like, I don't understand. He can read it." And every time I finish something, he's like, "You gotta stop beating yourself up. You can read it all over your face that you're beating yourself up." He's like, "Stop shaking your head every time you do something wrong. It's okay. Like, you're learning. You just figure it out and enjoy the learning process. Don't sit here and beat yourself up because you did stuff wrong. You're gonna hate it. You're gonna hate every second of it." Yeah, everyone's their own worst critic, man. And
truly,
a lot of the time we're doing I don't know. A lot of the time when you feel like you're beating yourself up, you're actually doing a better job than you think you are. But then there are people who are just ignorant and think they're doing a great job and really suck
and like,
at the same time.
There's people that compare themselves to us too. Like I assume so.
Which
like,
is hard to believe.
Which is hard to believe, but like
about.
everyone's and the same way the people we're comparing ourselves to, they probably are comparing themselves to other people too. Like I know this one time I was in a situation where I was just kind of sharing my life story.
Yeah.
And this girl came up to me afterwards. She was like, "Wow, I really didn't like you before because I thought you were like this perfect little white peppy girl. And then I heard that you were pretty messed up too. And so, yeah, we can be friends now."
Oh, nice.
And basically she had like compared herself to me, felt like she told me she didn't feel like she was good enough to be friends with me.
Yeah.
And then actually took a chance to listen to where I was in life. And she was like, she's messed up. We can be friends.
Yeah.
And yeah.
That was good.
My Enneagram 7 is coming out. Can we please stop being serious now?
Yeah, I know, right?
Sorry. That came across very aggressive of trying to run away.
You're the one wanting to have a serious
I
conversation.
know, I did, but now it's just been a lot and I'm just realizing how vulnerable I was.
Oh, nice. All right, sick. Want to go get a tattoo? Let's go.
Yeah.
Woo. Okay. Well, actually, I think we're at the end of our time, Annabelle. Wow.
This is sad. This is the highlight of my week.
This is fun. This is a fun time. But we love you guys. Thank you guys so much for listening every week.
Thank you for those of you who have been posting and sharing about this. It really means a lot, truly.
We honestly have the best time. And I love when people like, I had someone reach out to me last week about the Disney thing and asking what the method was.
That's awesome.
And
oh my gosh, no, I had the best one. I was at someone's house for dinner. We were gonna watch church together, and the second I walked into the house, she goes, "Okay, Annabelle, this is where the restroom is," because she had listened to episode 1 and heard my fear about going to people's houses. And I literally looked at her and I went, "Oh my goodness. I didn't even drink any water on the way here," which I normally do.
Yeah.
I was like, because I was so nervous that I wouldn't know where the restroom was.
Wait, stop. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, no, I have people reach about that. I have people say they also have male FOMO.
Oh, we love your feedback, guys.
MAIL FOMO. Sorry, I should probably clarify.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you for
Thank you for listening to the What's Ever podcast.
I can't recover. We'll see you guys. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for listening. We love you guys.